CFR Network, CFR News, Shalom, Balance, Paradise, good day, good night, Niha, Wassalam, all of the universal greetings. We back, brought a legend and a pioneer on this broadcast to continue this year Texas series. I welcome none other than Crazy C. Welcome to the broadcast, sibling.
What's up, man? Appreciate you for having me, Doc.
You're most welcome, man. You're most welcome. As you already know, man, I'm working my way through this extensive list of pioneers who shaped and created the soundtrack to me growing up, me on the come up and all that there. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So
Yeah,
I had to get you on. I'm looking at Mike Dean as well, John Beto. We need y'all to come on and, tell your story, man, from the other side of the wall.
man, I'm surprised. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I know hip hop is universal, but I'm surprised that you really heard a lot about the Houston sound over in London, man. I really didn't have no clue it went that far, man. I thought we were just in the States, but I found out, people from Australia, Japan,
Mm.
really are loving, what we were doing here in Texas, man, for the past couple of years.
It's a unique sound. London definitely got it here in Birmingham. We definitely got it in Brum. And for me personally, people might be sick of me telling the story, but it was that Nip. My bridgings then gave me that South Park Psycho, and that changed my world. Because historically, all I had listened to was East Coast, just New York, Brooklyn, Queens, just the usual kind of stuff, Cool G rap and all that. A little bit of West Coast. And I
Hmm.
heard the rawness on there, the samples and the story, as I say, the storytelling capabilities from Brother Nip, as he's known now.
Yeah.
And that was like, for me, that was a difference. It was faster beats. There was a little bit more thought to it rather than party kind of rhyme, backpack rap kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was some social content to it. Then I heard Willing D's Going Out Like a Soldier, had that on wax. And I'm
Hmm.
hearing what he's talking about on that, about the racism, the KKK, the Rodney King track. And I was, okay, that's a different angle to come with. So, okay, I hear what he's saying.
Yeah, I
Um,
produced that track for Willie D, the Rodney King.
that was, okay. All right, then, siblings. So that is a perfect place to start this here, mate. What was, did Willie come in with that already done, or did he hear the track and then wrote that?
Well, he came to me with a concept. He was like, "Man, I got this song that I want to do about everything that was happening with the riots in L.A., and I just really want to speak on it." He's like, "Man, come with a track, man, that breathes the energy of what I want to talk about in this song." And I molded over, man, for a couple of days, and that's what I came up with. And he went into the studio and laid it, man. Willie is like one of the dopest MCs, highly underrated, man. But Willie got that fire, bro. Real talk.
Definite, definite. I think out of the main cast of the Ghetto Boys, they all come with so much unique, different sides to them. Obviously, Face is is the main person people sort of associate. Then Willie, I guess, and then I guess Bushwick. But even
Hmm.
Bushwick had a side to him, which was like, like the Phantom of the Rapper.
Hmm.
That that was slaps. That was dope.
Yeah, man.
Did you
Yeah.
work on that album at all as well?
Not on that particular solo album, but I did his solo songs on like the first "We Can't Be Stopped" album. I done Chucky, and I forgot the other song that I done for him, and then I done Chucky Part Two off of
Mm,
his Little Big Man solo album.
little
So yeah, I've worked with him on a couple of his songs, but not the Phantom of the Rapper. I did not work on, but that was a dope CD though.
Yes, I remember when that first drops, and I was thinking, oh, I haven't heard from Bushwick, aka Chuckwick, in
Yeah,
quite some time. I don't need to listen to this. And this was the thing. At that time, Rap-A-Lot was producing such quality content that it didn't matter who was on there. It didn't matter who, if you'd even heard of the artist, if it had Rap-A-Lot records on there,
yeah,
you would buy that automatically. When the Odd
yeah.
Squad first came out, we had no clue who Devin was, Jugmug, Blind Rod. you know,
Was, man. Dopeness, dopeness. I remember um, a friend of mine by the name of Funky Fingers is like legendary guitar player here in
Corey.
Houston. Yeah, Corey Stoop, man. He knew Blind Rob. I think him and Blind Rob had went to high school together, and he was like, "Man, I got this guy named Blind Rob. He's got this group called the Oz Squad. Man, I want you to hear them. They're dope." So he hooked me and Blind Rob up one day, and I went over their house and listened to like a couple of songs that they had. Man, I'm like, man, I gotta let Beto hear this. I gotta bring y'all to Beto, man, because y'all have something that Houston has never heard before. Y'all
Mm,
doing it from a different angle.
yes.
So I brought Beto over to the house with me. Uh, Probably about a week or two later, one thing led to another. Beto took in the little J. At that time, so it's called J Prince now,
Mhm.
and they were signed to Rap-A-Lot, and the rest is history. But yeah, I was the one that actually kind of brought them in, man.
You got that connection. So prior to that Fat Enough for Everyone release, did the Odd Squads have any like independent sort of like releases, like demos or anything? Because
Yeah, they had demos, but they had nothing commercially released, to my knowledge. When I
okay.
went over there to the home where they were, it was just like a bunch of demos that they had, but all of them were dope. They could have been released, they just weren't. I wish, man, I wished I still had some of those demos, man, really, because they were dope.
Look, as you say, there was nothing coming out of that H at that time. I mean, it was so advanced.
Yeah,
When I first heard it was it was too good for me in a strange way because I couldn't appreciate it at the time. I literally
hmm
had to put it down for a few months. And because obviously you had Odd Squad that came out and you had Black Months at the same time that was released over here. So
hmm
for me, yeah, no, Rising Paradise, the Wicked Buddha Baby, 3-2, like he
yeah,
was the man at that time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Anything that 3-2 was on, I'm all the way in. So for me, the Black Months took the kind of shine for me. And then as I say, a couple months later, I said, okay. I think I was washing up one. Actually, no, that was the Devon album. I was washing up. You know the ones you're like, I'm
yeah.
gonna put it on. I wanna hear the whole thing out. I don't want to be next to it so I can fast forward to the tracks I like. I want to hear the whole thing. And I heard it and I was listening to everything. And it just for me, that became the album of that year.
Man, the way Devin, man, blended those vocals, missing over yo for sure.
But
Man,
yes.
that was the hit, man. And flashing back a little bit, you was mentioning 3-2.
Mhm.
3-2 was actually because me and 3-2 went to high school. Actually, me 3-2 and Scarface went to high school together. And 3-2 used to come over my house and work on demos at my crib. Like everybody used to come through my crib. I had, Willie D, Scarface, 320 came, when he was younger, came through the crib. A group called the Mad Scientists, which later became the Hoodlums that signed, they were first signed to
Oh, to
Suave House.
Suave
Right.
House.
Yeah, that was like kind of like my protege group got signed to Suave
OC and
House.
Low Key A Sibling. Are
Low
you still
key.
in contact with them, brothers?
I am not in contact with them, but I know how to contact one of them. I don't know how to
Oh,
contact the other one, but I suspect I know how to contact OC because a friend of mine still is in regular contact with him,
okay. We'll
and I know
talk.
he probably will get in contact with.
Yeah, yeah. We'll talk offline about that because listen, I don't know what's happened, but the tracks I heard them on was was monumental. The
Yeah,
lyrical capabilities of those two brothers, I was expecting greatness. I was thinking, okay, this album
me. Me and you
needs to come out.
both. Me and you both, because I'd done like 80% of the tracks that they were gonna use when they were on Suave House. Because like I said, they were like my protege group,
Mhm.
and I was disappointed, man, that they never came out, and then they went to Rap a Lot and got lost in the sauce again. So it one of those things, man. But if they would have released that record, I'm telling you, that record would have blew up.
150,000%, because I guess they would have came over to rap a lot when Tila came over.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been game over because that, and again, look, and this was the transition, I guess, in my opinion, of sorts in the production style of rap a lot at that time, because the style, the sound was a little different. And again, for that Now or Never, it was really good, but for me, it was a little bit too ahead of its time.
Yeah, you
So
can
I,
find some of the tracks on YouTube, like Matt Styles. He put some of their old demos that we had done on YouTube. I don't know where he got them from, but if you search on YouTube, Mad Scientist, you can find some of the old songs that's still floating around out there.
mm, definitely, I will 100% do that.
And
Um,
I still got some of the original studio tapes on that somewhere. I just gotta find them.
See, maybe sibling, this, because based upon what you're saying, you've worked with so many different people who have come through at early stages and stuff. Obviously, I
Yeah,
think this is a perfect time for, I mean, it's a nostalgic year. I would say the last 2020, 2019, 2020, people are really looking back at the foundation and what brought everyone come to the dance. So maybe you might want to be having that conversation to say, look, let's put this out. you know, the people are feeling through it. They
yeah.
definitely want to hear some new stuff, but at the same time, if you've got some old unreleased old stuff, hey,
Yeah, you might be on to something, man. I'm about to go through those tapes, man, and see what I can find and see if I can hook up with them and see what they want to do, man. It's it's it would been what 25 years almost since we done those demos,
yeah,
and people are still asking about, man, this group that you had, man. What happened to it?
mm.
You you aren't the first that is asked, so you might be on to something with that.
If, as you say, I'm definitely not the first and will not be the last. There's a plethora of people who are like, well, and also there was those two women, Nola, that was on
Hmm.
where they at? Like, there's some talent, man. It's like, you
Dude,
know,
I have no idea. Draper was sitting on so much talent, and he only released a portion of it, man.
mm,
Yeah, I mean, it was just, I mean, between Suave House and Rap a Lot, man. Houston had some of the best, you know, Southern-based MCs, man,
yeah,
that came out of the states, but half of it never got out, never seen the light of day.
which is so crazy. Which is so crazy. I guess all for a reason. I guess all for a reason. Maybe their time is
Hmm.
maybe now, because I see a lot of people putting in that work now, saying, look, this is a lot more lucrative of sorts. Well, not lucrative, but
Hmm.
there's more opportunity to produce content and get it directly to,
The consumer, yeah,
indeed.
without a doubt, man, without a doubt.
The difference is you miss that physical interaction. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So like people have got CDs signed. They haven't even opened them. They'll meet their favorite artist at the gas station, and it's out that trunk money, and they'll
Yeah,
buy two CDs. They've got that one still wrapped up fresh, and they
yeah.
can pick that up and say, "I remember when I was on I-95 or wherever it was, and the brother came through. I got that there." And I'm still jamming it in the Gregorian year of 2021.
Real talk, man. Real talk. I mean, it's like the '90s are starting all over again, but with a different twist. You hear a lot of the younger MCs, not very many, but there are some that are trying to pick up that '90s sound, repackage it. Of course, making it with today's vibe, if you can, if you will. But yeah, that I think what we did in the '90s, man, was just so monumental because you had so many different styles of music. I mean, you had what we had here in Houston. to what they had in Atlanta at that particular time.
Yeah.
You know, West Coast, then you had Miami, then of course you had the East Coast. I mean,
Hey, sibling,
it.
don't forget that Memphis, man.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, yeah, yeah. But I include them kind of like is Houston's cousin because a lot of the stuff from Memphis and Houston because of the A Ball and MJG connection, a
Indeed.
lot of that's kind of blended because they had sipping on scissor, they had picked up the screw sound,
Mm,
for a minute, so it kind of blurred between us and Memphis for a minute there.
100%, 100%. I mean, there's so much. I mean, look at this. Let's just be honest, and I always have to highlight this. Houston culture was sought after, was utilized, and then the culture was then extracted, and then
Hmm.
elements was placed throughout hip hop, and is still being used today. That
Yeah,
Houston culture lives on a very long.
yeah, it did, man. And it's amazing to see, like I said, some 20 years later almost, how, what we were doing here in Houston, Texas. Everybody called us country.
Hmm.
Like I had done some stuff for Ill Now Scratch on their second album, which was a very underrated album. Very man, those were two MCs from New York that were underrated,
Yep.
totally, in my opinion. But
Hmm.
they came down to Houston and they worked with me on two songs, and this was their first time to Houston. They were like, "Man, when we got down here, man, we was expecting to see horses and cow." I'm like, "Dude, this is a big metroplex, just like New York." Now, I ain't gonna lie, we go on the outside, you might see somebody
Mm,
riding a horse. You know what I
hmm.
mean?
Mm.
But hey, it's part of Texas. You got half city, half country, but
This
we
is
love
it.
it all.
That's the beautiful thing about it, as you say, man. You can be in a metropolitan sort of side, and then 20 minutes out, you're in the country. You
Yeah,
got horses, you got wildlife, you got everything.
yeah, man.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. At some point, me and the Empress most definitely have to most high willing take that trip and
Oh
visit that
yeah.
that great state.
Yeah.
Houston being the number one stop, and then Dallas, San Antonio, probably even Corpus Christi. I know that's gonna be a big trip.
You take a Texas tour. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
The shiggity man, the relays.
yeah, man.
Yeah, so let's strap in and let's take a trip in the DeLorean and let's go back before there was a crazy sea.
Mhm.
Where was you born and raised, sibling?
I was born in Dallas, but I was raised in Houston.
Mm,
I moved from Dallas when I was like 7 years old, and been in Houston ever since. So I call myself a native Houstonian, even though my roots are in Dallas and South Oak Cliff. That's where it all started there. But then
okay.
moved to Houston, like I said, when I was about 7 years old. My dad got a job down here in Houston that transferred him, and he packed on up and moved up north, or well, down south, as they say, because Dallas is northern from us, the northern state of Texas. We moved further south, and that's where I've been ever since.
Right. And what part of that H did you move to?
Well, in Houston, what they call it, it's a big debate now. The neighborhood is Ridgemont, where Zero's from.
Ah,
Technically, it's Houston, but people say it's Mo City, which is a suburb that's down the street from Houston. So it's like we're like a throne stove from Missouri City, but
mm,
really we're in Houston. And Hiram Clark runs through the back of Ridgemont, so it's kind of like take your pick.
yeah, yeah.
Some people say from the car where Harvey Love from. Some people say we're from Missouri City. Some people say we straight up H Town, but the neighborhood is Ridgemont.
Blessed, blessed. So that's so as you say, you could literally take your pick. So is there a rivalry between Harm Clark and Mosi?
I wouldn't say there's a rivalry. I mean, not to my knowledge. Everybody in Houston really got along. Now there was like in like the mid part of the '90s, kind of taking an offshoot from the East Coast West Coast beef. We had like our
The
little
North
North
and the South.
Side,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But we kind of squashed that kind of early because, like, man, we like this is all H time, man. Ain't no need for us dividing ourselves like that, man. We
Mm.
just one big city. And I used to be a co-host of a video show with a friend of mine, the Mad Hatter. We had a video show called Straight from the Streets. And I remember us having like a H Town summit where we got like all the rappers together from Houston, from the North Side and from the South Side. And we got down and we kind of like chopped it out and, brought everybody together. And I'm not saying we were the catalyst for change, but I think something happened in that meeting that caused everybody to think. And from there, the North Side, South Side rivalry started to subside. You had Swisher House working with the SUC,
Yeah.
and it kind of died down to where it is now. We're just all one big H now. So, no, I really wouldn't say it was a big rivalry, not at all.
Cool. 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 And so growing up, um, what kind of things were we into, educational wise? What was the main things that we enjoyed?
Really, to be honest with you, man, when I'm not doing music, I really I'm a big thinker, man. I like learning, so I like reading, stuff about history,
Hmm.
learning particularly the stuff that happened here to African Americans in the states and
Ah.
how through the generations of racism and oppression,
Hmm.
things are kind of like where they are today. So, I like doing that. Of course, God is always first in my life. So I'm a real spiritual person, so that's first and foremost.
Hmm.
Um, Outside of that, DJing is really what brought me into hip hop, man. I was like a DJ in high school, man, and it was like a couple of us, me, Def Jam Blaster, Big Al, um, it's about 5 or 6 of us, man. That if we wasn't DJing your party, you didn't have no party. Real talk.
Yeah, yeah. He's putting it down.
Yeah, that's just how it was, man. If we wasn't doing it, man, your party was whack. Like I remember, I was DJing one party down the street from this other chick. She had a party, and her DJ was whack. She came down trying to bribe me because everybody was leaving hers, coming to the party where I was at. Came down trying to bribe me. Hey man, you come down here and DJ. I'm like, hey, y'all can come down here. So
You got it like that. Hey, so what was your DJ name? Was it DJ Crazy C?
yeah, that was it.
Okay. So so explain that then. So how did you create that moniker, or was that given to you?
I kind of created it, man, and it was, really just off the top of the head. Because one day I was in my room and I had this record of this group from New York called Master OC and Crazy Eddie,
Ah.
and I'm like, Master's not really a good name,
Mm.
but OC and Crazy, I could take the Crazy part, and then my last name is Cullins. I can take the C off the first initial of my last name, put that together, and come up with Crazy C. Because I had a whole bunch of other names before then, DJ Fresh, Dr. Cuts, all that, those were whack. But when I came up with Crazy C, that kind of stuck with me, and that's what
Yeah.
I've been with,
Look, when I can't remember what was the first inlay I saw your name in, but what I used to remember was it was always a tie up. I used to see Crazy C. I used to always see Funky Fingers on that as well, and I used to
Yeah.
put the headphones on and listen specifically to what sounds when they would come in, the arrangements of the stuff. Oh, so after a period of time, after listening to a couple albums, as soon as I'd hear the first 10 seconds, oh, this is a Beatle track. Oh, this is
Mhm.
a Dean's List production. you
Yeah.
know, this is crazy. Okay, I can hear it because everyone had their own little way of kind of, even Joe.
Mhm.
Everyone had their little their sound, their specific sound.
Man, fun fact about Mike Dean. When Mike Dean first came to rap a lot, Mike Dean was like into like some Miami bass, man, and sampling. This dude, multi instrumentalist, multi talented. Nothing wrong with sampling, because that's what
Mhm.
we did. That's the foundation of hip hop. But this dude was just coming straight sampling when he can play all of these instruments. So Big Mello was in the studio and we were working on a remix to one of our songs called Straight from the Clark. And he was like, man, I wish we could have a live guitar player on there. And Michael like, man, I play guitar. I'm like, when? He went out to his car, he had a guitar in his car, and just, started playing around because we were the first ones that got Mike Dean to really thinking about
Yeah.
how hip hop is made with live instrumentation. And from that point on, he started doing beats, and of course, the rest is history. So like, man, I was around a lot of early beginnings, man. And props out to Jay Prince, man, because Jay Prince, was the one that really gave me my start, man. And I wouldn't have had an opportunity to go on and do remixes for Wu Tang and Not About Nature and a lot of the other groups that I was able to work with, man. If it wasn't for Jay Prince really giving me that start, so I will never forget that. Really,
Mm.
real talk.
Foundational, and again another for foundational. I mean, we call him we can call him an icon now. He's done so much within the music industry, and then outside of the music industry, he's done so much promotion wise and doing deals and this and that. Um, Author as well. He's got many strings to the bow, man. Many strings to the bow. It's a shame that rap isn't the dominant force that it once was, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing can remain current. Nothing can stay the same. Everything in life is unfortunately subject to change. It's how we adapt and evolve and roll with those changes. But it's still. I would still like to see a bit more of a rapper presence there, so we can kind of still see some murmurings of, oh, yeah, if you want to listen to
Mm-hmm.
something modern, from Texas, yeah, we can go to rap we can get some. um, Not necessarily we'd always rely and think, okay, what CD should we pull out today?
Right.
Digging in the crates, man. That's what it constantly is. It's old school like Shelto Adidas. Nothing past generally, unless it's one of the older artists, the
Yeah.
legend artists. It's all I guess maybe 2016. I guess was the last real kind of major search to try and find quality content because it just got silly.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is one of the reasons why I kind of like took a vacation or sabbatical, if you will, from really just making beats because the passion you know wasn't there anymore because the industry had changed so much.
Mm,
And you know no knock on the young kids, man. You know what I'm saying? The young artists coming up, they doing their thing. A lot of it I like, some of it a little bit, yeah. But
mm,
I'm not gonna knock their hustle, because I am proud of anybody, especially young black men taking their lives into their own hands and doing something positive with it. It may not be my cup of tea,
yeah.
but it's somebody else's cup of tea. But for that reason, man, I just kind of chilled a little bit, and I just really was mixing and mastering in the studio, and really wasn't worried about doing music anymore. I just lost the passion for it. Up until recently, a couple of artists here in H Town have asked me to come and do some things for them. In particular, Bun B, he had me on his Trill radio show on Sirius XM. He's like, man, me and Harvey Love he had on actually.
Mm,
He's like, man, y'all need to come together and do a track together, man. And
mm, mm,
crazy. You need to come out of retirement, man. I know you still got that fire. I'm like, yeah, it's like riding the bike, man. You never
yes.
lose it, but
Mm,
I haven't had the passion for it. But and you're not the first one that told me that. So who knows, man, what might happen between now and maybe in the middle part of next year. Um, One of the producers here in Houston, Big Swift. By the way, shout out to Big Swift. He's putting together a compilation called Chairman of the Boards, where he's gonna have me, Mike B, Harvey Love, Solo, Double D,
whoa.
Muhammad 2G. Man, I don't want to leave nobody else out, man. So charge it to the head, not to my heart. But it's about eight producers, man, and He's trying to put together this compilation where we'll all have like 2 tracks apiece
Hmm.
on his compilation, man. And I'm really excited about that, man. So we'll see what happens first part of the
Swift,
year.
is that okay? Let me see if I can make this correlation. Did he have anything to do with the Buddha clan?
I think he did, and he produced a lot of stuff for the SUC, man. And he done the original track for "Keeping My Composure" for the R&B group H Town. I
Mm,
I done the remix to that song, but he done the original track to that song. So me and Swift go way back. It was a studio in Houston called Ultimate Sounds, which was kind of like the first black studio in Houston, man, where like everybody came to that studio. Scarface, A Ball, MJG, Destiny's Child, H Town,
yeah.
Big Mello, because it was right in the Clark.
Mm,
Just about anybody and everybody from Houston had went through that studio at one point or another. And yes, Big Swift was like one of the major influences of that studio, man, for real.
the Shiggity A and that Buddha clan album.
Yeah,
Hey, that went no joke, man.
yeah, man.
That came out on what Profile Records. I couldn't, I didn't know what the connection was. Now you're saying it now. And now I hear the sound. I'm like, ah, because for some reason I thought they were from D, from that D,
Hmm.
rather than that H was maybe one or so of the artists from Dallas.
Maybe so. I'm not real sure, but I believe he did produce some songs on that. But you may want to reach out to him, man. And once we get off air, if you don't have a way to contact him, I'll
Mm.
put you in contact because you need to have him on as an interview, man. Swift is, you know, one of the
Integral
big
again.
times. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%, 100%. So talk a little bit more about the how did the connection, or how was the connection made with you and Jay?
Through 3-2. 3-2 was working with a group called the Convicts with Big Mike.
Classic.
And we were working on some stuff for his solo album. Like I said, in my bedroom, and he brought the stuff that I was doing with him as a solo artist to Jay Prince, and Jay Prince liked what we were doing. He was like, "Man, I got this other artist named Big Mike. Man, let me put y'all two together, and we come up with this group called the Convicts." And they used a couple of the songs that we had done for 3-2 as solo, as a solo artist, and put him
Yeah.
on that Convicts album. And that's how I got introduced to rap a lot.
Oh, 900 dial a crook.
Yeah,
Hey, and didn't they use that they had an interlude on there, sitting in Harris County Jail, spending
yeah.
all my little time. Wasn't that was an OG Star
That
album,
was
right?
that was on OG Styles album. Yeah, they took a splice out of that and put it at the beginning of that song. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Like there wasn't many albums that you couldn't put in that came out on Rapper like that. Every track had something, some kind of value,
Hmm.
a story, a sound, a vibe that you'd get from it. Um, and I think the artists of old and some of the artists of new who are a lot more socially aware and discuss these things on record, um, they had accountability for their
Yeah.
art and their craft.
Yeah.
Whereas, unfortunately, these days, people are producing, in my humble opinion, that they're creating death music. It's not life-giving music.
Hmm.
It's not something that you can, you know, you can take anything away from it. It just seems so negative these days.
Yeah. Yeah. There's really I like it. I liken it to the downside of commercialism and capitalism. You know, a lot of the artists are really not doing it for what they feeling in here. They're doing it for the money. You know, and that's nothing new. That's been happening since the beginning of the music industry, quite frankly. But I think with hip hop, the dynamic was always or always has been, you doing something that's unique and authentic from you that came from the streets. It wasn't fabricated because we could pick out somebody that's fabricated a mile away. Oh, this
Yes.
they ain't real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So nowadays, it's like the lines have been blurred. It's like they don't care if they ain't real.
Mm,
I'm out for the money. So what?
yeah. Goals and aspirations, and as you said, the authenticity means nothing now. It's what
Right.
can I see, not
Right.
necessarily what's being done. And like he's certified, he's been about that. That's why he's now changed his life and he's on wax talking about some of his indiscretions, maybe on some of these close calls, and showing you the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifference. Not just showing you like, yeah, 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 yeah. It is
Mhm.
what it is, kind of thing. Happily ever after. You know what I mean? Rapunzel
Right.
put her hair down and the prince ran up. No, no, no. We gotta talk. If we're gonna paint the picture, paint the vivid picture, paint the true story.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, man. Really. And I don't know if you're familiar with a lot of Christian hip hop, but like Lecrae,
The Cray, he's
he's
good. Yeah.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Listen, sibling, I got turned on to Christian hip hop or Christian rap
Hmm.
in 1995 by an artist by the name of New Wine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right right
Grapevine
out of H
Records.
Town.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my record supplier knew that anything from Houston, anything from Memphis, Louisiana, anything from the South, basically, generally those regions, if it had a pen and pixel cover on it, if it was
Hmm.
affiliated somehow with a big label, they're gonna import that specifically for me and my guys because we're gonna get that there. So it came through and I looked at it. I had no idea. Oh, what was going? Oh, look at the album cover, pen and pixel style. Look, oh yeah, this okay. New Wine, Bloody Fifth. Okay, yeah, man, this is. I was listening to it and I think I got to track 4 when I realized the brother's not swearing. I haven't heard any profanity.
Yeah.
He's talking righteous stuff. I'm kind of feeling it. This is different. This is, and at this point, sibling, I'll be upfront and truthful as I always am.
Hmm.
I was a savage. I
Hmm.
was a total savage at this point. I had no connection to the Most High.
Yeah.
Um, I was doing stupid shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah. Where we all back then. Yeah.
this is it. But I heard it and I took it in, and I was like, it's different. It's not something I'd potentially jam every day, all day. But I'm
Hmm.
feeling it. Fast forwards, and I have a huge collection of Christian rap. So it's swings and roundabouts, and sometimes it's about growth and development.
Yeah. And Lecrae is from Houston.
Okay, that's something I didn't know.
Yeah, he's from Houston.
Excellent. Now that's given me a drive to because I don't actually have any of his albums, so that has given me the drive and impetus now to look more closely at the sibling. Uh, Gotta support anything that comes out that age, man, especially if it's positive. Oh, and also let's not forget GS,
Hmm.
Warning Before the Destruction.
Yeah.
He's H Town as well, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
We got talent, man. And
Yeah, man. A lot of talent, man. You got, a lot of up and comers. You got Travis Scott from Houston.
mhm,
Um, who else, man? There's a lot of the younger cats, man, that tend to have a little bit of something different in them.
mhm.
You know, they from Houston or
Source
have some
Walker.
Houston ties. Yeah,
Okay, okay. And obviously Megan the Stallion, who's very, 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 very popular.
yeah.
Um,
Lizzo's from Houston.
oh my God, the large lady.
Yeah. You said the large lady. Yeah,
I'm trying
she's in
to be
Houston.
polite. I'm trying to be polite.
No, I feel you, man, but she's dope. She's dope.
She does she. I don't know what she is. Does she perform? Is she an artist? I don't.
She's she's an artist, but she's not really a rapper, but she's not really a singer either. I mean, she's kind of like a Missy Elliott, with
Okay.
2021 style, man. And her music, it's not for everybody because it can be, a bit vulgar. But I look inside of what she's doing,
Hmm.
and she's telling her story, man, and she's real authentic. I like anybody that's gonna tell a part of their lives, the good,
Mm,
the bad,
yeah.
and the ugly, and not fabricate it. So
Yes.
she's talking about her life and what she's all about, man. Hey, I'm with that. You know what I mean? So as
Okay.
long as you're gonna talk about your life and express yourself, express your true self, how bad that may be, because the way I look at it is that's an opportunity for you to one day get over that hump, because you can't get healing in first until you first talk about,
Mm,
let people know what's going on in your life. And I think it's therapy often for a lot of artists to talk about what goes on in their life that they really can't just sit down and talk one on one with anybody. So they get it out in their music. It's a refreshing time for them. And I have no doubt it's at some point in her life, she may change. Her music may be totally different,
mm.
5 or 10 years down the road or sooner. Who knows? But this is where she's at right now. And, I don't judge anybody for where they're at because I know God can work in anybody's life at
Oh
any
yeah.
point in time. So,
You already know, sibling.
yeah,
You already know.
without a
He's
doubt, man.
pardon self. He's currently doing his works, man. He's doing his works, and we got a lot more to see before this year's out.
Right.
Um, come the Gregorian year of 2022, again, there's going to be some surprises. Um, some are stiff neck, hard, and stubborn, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and they ain't gonna. They don't want eyes to see and ears to hear. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they want the touch, taste, and feel of the world. You
Yeah.
know, they don't want to be they don't want to do the simple things.
Yeah,
You don't want to do. I
without a
mean,
doubt.
like having manners and being kind costs nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. It's free.
Totally free, totally free. Do unto others as others would do unto you.
Yeah.
It seems the reverse is the popular now, and it's the narrative. Look out for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, live your best life, whatever that's supposed to mean. Um, it's the weirdest thing. Like we've got multiple lives. Like we've got most people um are part of the three Abrahamic faiths, and
Mm-hmm.
based upon that, you don't believe in reincarnation.
Right.
So what best life could we be living now? Like, unless you deal with Eastern philosophies and stuff, where of
Right.
course reincarnation is a thing for them, then
Exactly.
then of course they will be
And
saying that on the regular, this is the best life.
right. Right.
The
Right.
ones before were not. Now I got all this technology. I don't need to, I got electricity, and yeah, it's it's an interesting time to be alive. A real
Yeah, it
interesting
is.
time to be alive.
It is, man. It is. And my wife and I, we talk about it a lot that things, that we had respect for years ago is like people don't have any respect. Like I remember as a teenager, I'd be jamming NWA, know what I mean,
Hmm.
cussing everything.
Hmm.
But as soon as I came by church, man, respect, man, that
Yeah.
that volume going down. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And you don't see that no more, man. It's like no respect for anything. Respect for life. No
Yeah.
respect for yourself.
Mm.
But everybody has a journey that they have to go through, and I believe it's up to those of us, um, who know God, and as you said, a part of the three Abrahamic faiths, to pray.
Hmm.
We're supposed to pray daily without ceasing.
Hmm.
So I pray for all of my friends. I pray for my family, and I pray for those I see in the media, man, because you just never know what somebody's going through. So
Exactly.
I don't never really judge the outside. I kind of hear what their heart is saying, when they speak, or if it's an artist, what they put on their records. I kind of hear what
Mm,
the heart is saying if they're being authentically to who they are. Now, if they're fabricating it, like I said, you can kind of see that from a mile away.
definitely. I
Yeah,
mean, I think it's pardon self. I think it's unfortunate that we've got I guess, I mean, let's just be honest. The powers that should have never have been have put systems and procedures and policies in place which stifle every element of creativity.
yeah,
It separates male from female, especially within our community. It's taken the father out of the household to then
mhm,
create a sense of black women being strong, independent, don't need a man, etc., etc. Then desensitizing the children with in the forms of computer games. How realistic are the computer games that children are glued to, and who can speak to and play games over to people across the world in
mhm.
comparison to the 8-bit games we were playing, the 16-bit, the 32
Pac
bits.
Man,
This
yeah.
is it, it was cartoon-like characters which we were playing. There was like shoot 'em up, like GoldenEye, that was like the first real first-person shooter. Now
Hmm.
we've got games where it's indistinguishable between like life and like reality and the game. You're stabbing up people, you're shooting up people. The Grand Theft Auto thing,
Oh
the
man.
craziness that's going on, and that running over people and all kind of foolishness, doing all these tasks and stuff. So this is where the lack of value on life is, because
Hmm.
if you can, and let's not get it twisted, like watching wrestling. Remember the WWF back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure like many people who grew up watching that would go with their friends in the back garden and they would simulate those same maneuvers as
Hmm.
safely as possible, obviously, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right. Right.
So so surely the children are going to be simulating what they're
Hmm.
seeing on this thing, these games and all this shit that's coming out.
Yeah. A lot of times, yeah, life unfortunately tries to imitate art, and it should be the other way around, but you know,
And
it's
this is
crazy
why
times.
it's incumbent on, as you say, prayer, number one, faith,
Yeah.
and ultimately works.
That's the key.
Because all the first two things we mentioned, yeah, that that
Hmm.
that's that's two things, but there's a
Hmm.
triune, there's a triangle that needs to
Hmm.
happen. Like,
Yeah. Faith without works is dead.
exactly. Took the
Yeah.
words from my mouth, sir. Like, it's the
Hmm.
truth. It really is the truth. You've got to, it comes from the mind first. As a man thinketh,
Hmm.
so the thought is first, and then the actions have to be physically manifested.
Yeah.
So we can sit down with pens and papers and we can talk to friends. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. If you don't do what you said you're going to do, all that talk was for nothing.
Hmm. It's empty.
Mm, totally, totally. But people, it's that journey, isn't it? It's that journey. Some people are going to make it, sibling, and some
Hmm.
people are going to, they're going to do the insanity thing, doing the same thing, expecting
A
this
different
a
result.
different result. And
Yeah.
it's like, you can tell someone, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. Or maybe you should try a different way. And they'll say, yeah, yeah, yeah. And they keep on doing it. And then they'll ask you for the same kind of advice.
Hmm.
At some point, you've got to say, you know what? You got to do it yourself, man. I can't keep on telling you the same thing, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, it should be obvious by now. Like, if you're attracting the same kind of women around you all the time and you always have the same kind of issue, at some point you gotta say to yourself, maybe I need to seek a different type of woman or a different type of man, or even a different type of career if we're bringing it into a workplace. Like, some people are in careers, or well, jobs,
Hmm.
because there's a difference between a job and a career,
Right. Right.
where it's like that they should be there, maximize what makes you happy. Because like
Hmm.
half our life, unfortunately, depending on, you know most people work for employers, so most of your life is going to be spent, or half of your life is going to be spent at work. Should it
Mm-hmm.
not be as pleasurable and enjoyable as possible? You know,
Real talk, man.
find the passion, find the passion that you got. If you can monetize it, especially in this day and age, if you can't find a way to monetize something that you're passionate about, even if it's only a part-time income that you can draw from it, it's something, right?
Yeah, you got to, man. Your life, look at it as life is too short to not pursue your God given purpose. I believe everybody has a purpose on this earth. And if you're not pursuing what your purpose is, your life is going to be empty. I mean, you're just existing, you
Mm,
know?
most definitely, most definitely. For some strange reason, Big Mello keeps on jumping into my head. What what memorable situations or stories have you got about Mello?
Man, there's a lot, man. There's a lot. Melo was a multi-talented, multi-faceted dude. There's many layers to Big Melo. I mean, there's a raw street side, and then there was a real intellectual side, um, and then there's a philosophical side. I mean, Melo had a lot of stories that he would tell, about his life growing up and how he got into music, and dude was like a walking encyclopedia of everything R&B.
Mm,
He knew from Sam Cooke to recite the lyrics all the way up to Parliament Funkadelic to Roger and Zapp. Then he would go into some um like soft rock with Steely Dan. Like he was just a man, a walking encyclopedia, a walking jukebox of music, man. And how I met him was like we were at a skating ring where I was DJing at, and the I was DJing first. I was like, because I was young. I was probably about 18 or 19, I believe.
mhm.
I may have turned 20, but I was the setup DJ at the skate rink because I got hired because they needed another DJ to come in and kind of like warm up the crowd before the main DJ came out.
Yes.
The main DJ was Lester Sir Pace, which was Big Mello's manager. He's like, man, I know you working with three because 3-2 hadn't got signed to Rap a lot. We was just doing and working on the solo stuff.
Yeah.
And I let him hear some of it. He's like, man, I know you working with 3-2, but there's another artist, man. I think you should work with too, man. Come to the bathroom. I need you to hear him. Air for whatever reason. When everybody wanted to rap, they went to the bathroom to rap at that time. So he took me to the bathroom, and Mello was in there beatboxing and rapping, and I'm like, dude, dope. So, I brought him to the crib. We worked on some tracks, man, and brought Harvey Love over, and we worked on a couple of demos, and Lester Pace got it to Jay Prince, and that's how we got signed to Rap a Lot, man. And like I said, he Mellow Man was a real complicated dude, man, but real down to earth, man. You know, true friend. Once you were his friend, you're friends for life. He down with you, always got your back, man.
Yeah.
You know, some of the fondest memories, man. I remember us. We would just go out and me, him, and Harvey, and just go out and just hang on the bridge and the Clark and just sit down there cracking jokes on each other, man. Man, your mama feet so big, she got to soak her shit in Galveston because Galveston's like the like the Gulf of Mexico is down the street from Houston. Just imagine somebody's feet so big you got to soak them in the ocean. I'm like, man, get out of here, man. But yeah,
Mm,
fun dude, man, and his, like I said, he was like kind of like underrated outside of Houston. In Houston, man, everybody knew he was dope, but out of
mm.
Houston, he was kind of underrated. He didn't really get the limelight that I felt as though he deserved, man. Because those two Rap Loud albums, the Fun with Your Mind album in particular, man, really had a lot of hits on it, man. I think it could have really, really done a lot had a lot more people got a chance to hear it. You
So two albums on Rap a Lot. Was it the last release that one on Interrogation Records?
I don't remember what record label that was on, but I think the album was Done Deal, if I make no mistake. I think that was the last album, I believe. I could be wrong. But yeah, it was on another independent label out of Houston. I'm not for sure if it was Interrogation Records or not. But I
Okay.
know before he passed, because we had kind of like when we did that last album for Rap a Lot, we kind of like disbanded, a little bit and started working on our own thing. Harvey Love started working with Wasp Nest. He had
Yes.
his own little side project.
Hmm.
Of course, I went off and started, working on a couple of, national things, with remixes, Outkast and Goody Mob and
Wanna.
yeah, doing some things on a national level. And, I came back and started working with, like I said, my homeboy Mad Hatter, and we formed this record label together called Paid in Full. And we
Whoa,
put out,
whoa, 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 whoa. So wait a minute, sibling. So it was you and Mad Hatter that was paid in full.
yeah, me, Mad Hatter, and Big Cat.
Cat Daddy.
Yeah.
What? Gee, okay. So can talk about those artists that you had on paid in full?
Yeah, we put out Power Wall and Chameleon there, man, and
Yeah.
they were already like hot on the underground as as solo artists, but we kind of Big Cat brought them together and like, man, y'all need to do an album together, and we put out that first Get Your Mind Correct
Get your
album, man.
mind, yeah, the
Yeah,
double disc.
yeah, it was a classic album, and I didn't produce not one record on that album, but I mixed the whole thing, because at that particular time, I had kind of like not really stopped producing music. I was
Mhm.
still producing music, but I gave my life to God and to Christ. And I had at that time when I first did it, for me, it was like a big spiritual cleansing, and like
Yes.
I didn't want to do any more secular music at all.
Mm,
My only involvement with it was because my Hatter was my homeboy, and we had this label together, and I wanted to still fulfill my duties with the label, so I was
mm.
mixing and mastering all those records, and I was real zealous. Not looking back on it, hindsight 2020, I know it wasn't about the music per se. It was about me,
Yeah.
what I felt in my heart. But at that particular time, I didn't feel like I should be doing any secular music. So as a side note, we formed a gospel label as well called Soul Music, and we put out Shay Atkins, Gary Mays, and New Era, and we had a hip hop compilation called the Soul Music Presents that we put out. We had New Wine on there, Lil Rascal.
What?
Who else?
L-
Son of Jesse. We had a couple of local Christian hip hop artists, but yeah,
l-
that was me and Matt Hatter that done that. And in particular, he had paid in full for a couple of years on his own, and I produced a couple of solo records, some great solo records for him, man. All About Me. Um, the biggest record we done was the Mr. Mad and the Super Thugs that had Down
Oh,
South on it.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
with Slim Thug and Youngster. That was like the biggest record that we done, man. Man, that was a big record.
So Little
But yeah,
Rascal, he's H as well?
yeah, Little Rascal. Mhm.
Right. Okay. All right. And was did that grown man style 50-50 twin, did that come out and paid in full?
Yep,
Hey,
yeah,
sibling. That was slaps, man.
yeah. If you look back through the credits on there, you'll see like my mixing and mastering credits on all those albums. Like I think I may have actually done one track on 50-50 Twin. I think I done one because like I gave him like a track that I had done like 99 that he loves. And I'm like, man, go ahead. I put it on there. But I think it was Balling is a Habit, I think was the song.
Okay. Yes, yes, with that kind of double beat kind of thing on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, listen, that 50-50 little twin needs to come out with some more stuff, man.
Yeah, man, he does.
He,
He does.
out of, well, to be fair, I don't know. Oh, everyone has something. But when you hear 50, it's like it's your birthday and you got your favorite cake.
Real talk, man. Yeah.
And some of them punchlines as well. It's like it's quotables, man. No, but quotables you could take one of his tracks and just take little bits and pieces, and that's the hook for a whole nother track.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude was dope.
For
Without a doubt, man.
sure.
Yeah, man.
So how many releases actually came out of that paid in full in the end?
Oh man, we had a bunch of them, man. A lot of compilations,
Hmm.
mostly. But like I said, we had the Mr. Man projects, 50/50 Twin, Powerwall Chameleon. That day we had a Powerwall solo album that we done. Um, and we never did get a chance to do Chameleon solo album because he got signed to Universal.
Universal, yeah. And what about
Yeah.
Ro? Was Ro over there at that time as well? Young Ro.
Yeah, Young Ro was over at the time as well.
See,
Yep.
that was a team, and that color changing click.
Yep.
Cam, Paul, Ro, Razak,
Mm-hmm.
Twin. I'm not missing
Oh,
out
yeah.
anybody there.
No, you got them all. You know the whole thing. You probably remember them better than I do. Yeah.
Yeah, man. As I say, golden era, golden time. Good time to be alive. Good time to be on the scene. And I guess for y'all actually being there, present. Obviously, I guess. I mean, for yourself, at what point did you realize it was bigger than just Houston, or it was bigger than just maybe the South, and the music was getting wider?
Man, when I heard like other artists from other regions start screwing and chopping their music, that's when I knew it was big. Like when I heard T Pain do chopped and screwed, I'm like, oh, is it?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
they're taking influences, and I was kind of mad at that for a minute because they didn't pay any homage to where they got it from.
Yes.
But when Drake came out, Drake was the first one to, hey man, I'm letting y'all know this is where I got it from. This came
Hmm.
from H Town. It's probably due to the connection with Jay Prince's son being
Yes.
his manager.
Hmm.
But I was cool with Drake for at least letting it be known, man. Hey, I didn't come up with this. This is where I got it from. So I'm gonna pay homage.
Wasn't there another rapper that came out with he's from Brooklyn that came with a scissor paw? It sounded very Houston. Mid thousands. It was, oh God, what was was it Perp? Not the Dipset time, not that time, because they started doing the scissor
Mhm.
stuff and all that. It would not Travis, was it? It was like a name. So in the comments, someone will help me out and tell me who it is. But
Yeah, because I can't think of the name of it.
you know what I'm talking
But
about though, the
I know
track.
what you're talking about though. Yeah.
Yeah, did he? I'm sure he mentioned Screw possibly in the track, and I thought that was kind of cool. I'm sure there was some kind of mention to the H. I was like, you know what, Lisa, you know, he's saying that.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, probably. I think he did kind of, but I'm not sure, man.
Mm,
The mid 2000s to me is kind of a blur because that's when music really like you know no diss to the Atlanta from like 2010 on that, but like somewhere in the late 2000s, Atlanta for a large part, lost their identity. Atlanta used to be cold with Outkast and all that, but then it
mm,
started, Ti was cold, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But then it
yeah,
started with, the other,
yeah, yeah,
without mentioning any names, you know
yeah.
what I mean? So
Mm, mm. That was the period where it did change dramatically. It was
yeah,
it was fun music up until that point, and then it
yeah.
got serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no diss to Atlanta. I don't want nobody putting no crazy diss.
Oh
No,
no
I'm
no
not
no no
dissing the
no.
Atlanta, but I'm
Mm.
just saying, that's when it kind of like changed. But there's still some dope artists coming out of Atlanta right now. But I'm just saying, I like realism, and those who feel me, they know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Oh, of course, man. And we're talking about the era when Pastor Troy was tearing up the
Oh
scene,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
making songs about Master P and all that there.
yeah,
The good old days, man, with friendly rivalry on wax, you know what I mean? When banging on wax was just literally as it was. Uh, it was for the love and the art of hip hop.
yeah,
Ain't no wrong with battling, keeping it respectful. Yeah,
Without a
no,
doubt.
that's
Without a
the
doubt.
that's the thing. So as we wind this build down, Sabrina, I know your time is precious, and I don't want to keep you away from your Empress.
Yeah.
Um, we've alluded to potentially mid next year we might hear something new coming from yourself outside of the mixing and mastering. Um, without looking into a crystal ball, which I know you would never do.
Nope. No, I ain't digging off into that, man.
And it though we staying
Ter-
clear away
t-
from that there.
yeah, tarot cards, all that stuff. Y'all can have all that, man.
And it your book of life has been written and you don't need to necessarily know what go on with it in it.
Yeah, it is.
What would you like to where would you like to be? Let's put it that way. Let's make it more universal rather than music related. Let's say in the next 2 years, what kind of space would you like to be in?
Oh man, that's a good question. Um, Really, to be honest with you, man, I just want to continue to be where God wants me to be. I know that I'm on a life journey. Um, I am not done with that journey yet.
Mhm.
So I don't know where it's going to take me. I do feel as though that my music is not done. I still feel as though that there's more left for me to give. So I do feel like next year you'll be hearing a lot more of what I have to offer.
Mhm.
And just prayerfully, I think that what I have to offer would reach some people. I mean, I'm not saying how it's going to happen or what way it's going to happen, but 2 years from now, I want to say that Crazy C, you know, was able to touch some people with his music, and it's
Mm.
still touching people because I plan on being here around for a long time. So 2 years and years beyond, however
Yes.
long God says, He said He'll give me long life and satisfy me with long life, but I'm believing that. So that's where I expect just 2 years from now to be further advanced on my purpose, and
Perfect.
whatever that looks like. I
Mm.
don't know, but we'll
Yes.
find out 2 years from now. Maybe we can revisit this, and you can come back and say, "Hey, it's 2 years now. What you got going on?"
Yeah, for sure this evening. I like that. I like the sound of that. You got the ticket and you're gonna enjoy the ride.
Yeah, man.
For sure. Hey, um, are you? Is there plans on doing any work with 007 and the Fifth Ward Boys? Or are you
I
two cool?
Yeah, we're cool. But we haven't talked about anything. I mean, I would love to do some stuff with
Look,
them, but
it makes perfect sense. I'm gonna hit him up myself as well. It makes perfect sense, and I'm talking non-secular music as well.
hmm
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be done, man. It's got to be done.
real
I
talk.
think
Yeah, I hadn't talked to 007 probably since the 90s. I may have talked to him early 2000s for a bit sometime, but I know he's on his spiritual journey now.
he's on his walk. Hmm.
I do know about that, from other people, but I haven't spoke to him one on one. But yeah, man.
Yeah, man, we gonna hook that up, man. Behind the scenes, man, we gonna make some connections and bring forth some righteousness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some food for thought, some music for the soul.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, already.
we need that balance, man. We need that balance. There's as you've mentioned, you wine still doing his thing. I take it.
Well, the last 6 or 7 years, wine has been on a different path.
Oh.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, I liken it to you start out strong,
Hmm.
in the faith, and then
Yes.
somehow you get detoured. So
Yes.
he's on his detour, but I have no doubt that he'll find his way back. Yeah, because he's
Yes.
changed his name now. He goes by Wino. No, what's his last? Well, he changed it to Wino, and then he went to another. I think it's called Hefe Wine now. H
One.
A Haffe, Hefe Wine, and I know he had something to do with what's the young lady out of California. I can't think her name. Uh, the white chick that raps.
That's true.
Um,
Snow.
no, not Snow. She had like a hit out like in the early to mid 2000s because she stayed in Houston for a minute, and he had some. It was
Ah,
some controversy going on with that. I don't remember the details, but
okay.
yeah,
Uh,
I just be praying for Wine, man. I think
yeah.
he's just on his detour, but I have
Mm.
no doubt God is gonna bring it back.
He's on that left path. He's going to be get back in on that right path soon, soon, trustfully.
Yeah,
Definite. Sibling, it's been an honor, man. If I've enjoyed the build. I know I've only just scratched the surface. I
yeah.
didn't want to poke you too much, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's all good, man. I appreciate you for having me, man.
You're,
Appreciate that.
you're most welcome. You're most welcome. Very last two questions for you, sibling. Number one, have you had fun?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, man. As you can see, we've been on for what about an hour and a half or more.
Yeah,
Normally,
yeah,
I don't go this long, real talk, unless it's just something that's just interesting and I'm having fun, man.
yeah.
So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Light attracts light. You heard?
Yeah, yeah, real
This is
talk.
it. Very last one. Please tell us your name, sibling. Tell us. No,
My
no, 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 no. Let me. I don't know how I messed up. I don't know how I messed up. Tell us who you are, but don't tell us your name.
okay. Mm, uh, tough question. Not really a tough question, but deep question.
Yes. Mm.
um, First and foremost, I'm a believer.
Mhm.
Second, I'm a husband. Third, I'm a dad, and I'm a provider for my family. And I like to allow God to show me the way that I can help others. Man, I'm all about helping others, and if or when you get a chance to interview Harvey Love, I'm pretty sure he'll tell you, man, you know, how I helped him out. Like I helped DJ Screw out, I helped Pimp C out. Pimp C, you know, one of the couple of weeks before he passed, man, we was at a concert and he was like, you know, he was calling me by my real name. My real name is Simon. Like, man, Simon, man, you know, y'all don't know them organs that y'all hear in all my songs. That Simon, man, gave me that, man. He just showed me love. Most producers ain't gonna give you no sounds, man, but he gave me no sounds. And all them organs, man, y'all got him from me to think. So that's who I am, man. I'm a giver, man. I like, you know, spreading, you know, love wherever I can, man. I'm just that I'm that dude, man. I just like to give. You know what
Give
I'm saying?
thanks. Give thanks, sibling. There's fortunately there's not enough good people on this plane of existence that we're on. But through the works, being the light within the community, that light will start to shine brighter and brighter and affect change and turn people off that left path
Yeah.
and push them over to that right path. So all I can say is continue doing what you're doing. Thank you very much for all of the excellent works you have done and are doing. Um,
Appreciate it.
it's great to see that you're on the path that you're on now as well, spiritually.
Yeah.
Um, I'll make sure. What is the best way for people to get hold of you if people want,
Well, I mean, you can always follow me on social media. Now, be warned, as my man Nova here probably already knows, it's gonna take me a while because I'm not big on social media, man. I'm really not. I'm trying to get there. You know, I'm coming kicking and screaming because I know that that's the way that people communicate now. But yeah,
yes,
at producer Crazy C on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Um, Also,
perfect.
if you need mixing and master, man, those of you that need your album mixed and mastered, man, shoot by my website. I know it looks kind of like dated. I hadn't had a chance to update it, but I'm still there. You know, just go to hiphopmastering.com, shoot me your tracks via email. I'll download it, mix and master it, and send it back to you, man. Be the best investment for your record that you ever made. Trust me.
You already know the thing. Listen, if I was an artist, this is one of the siblings that I've been coming straight away. I will make sure I put the links below in the description.
Appreciate
Trustfully,
that.
you having no problem at all, sibling. No problem at all. Trustfully, the siblings, the squadron, the listeners have all enjoyed the build, the conversation, the share. Um, If this is something, if you're thinking, who's Crazy C? Well, look, do the knowledge, listen to some of the material, and I'm very sure you will be impressed. For the ones who already know the thing, you know, hit the brother up, man. Get these followers up. For the budding artists, if you want some quality stuff done, um, let's utilize this modern technology, man. Jump onto the website, utilize this brother services, and trustfully, soon we shall hear some wonderful tones from the sibling.
Coming soon, man. And like, if you want to hear anything, if you're not real familiar with my work, check out my YouTube page, Producer Crazy C, or go to Discogs. Discogs.com has just about 90% of everything I've ever done. It's all there.
Definitely. And again, that's what I'll do. If you shoot me your YouTube page as well, I'll make sure I put all of that below. Make it easy for them because historically, what I like to do is I like to just give keys of information. So the ones who want to seek and find will do as that.
There it
So, but
is.
what I'll do is I'll make it easy and I'll put all the links below so you can just click and find that. Yeah. If you listen to it on the podcast, please do leave a 5-star review, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a brethren to tell a sister to jump on this train.